our very first match. But at the same time, Alliance has taken this risk because Nacroft, I feel like it's a very 50-50 pick. But if they wanted something very slippery, just the same as a Murad, I feel like maybe, yes, Nacroft is the second best choice.
Yeah, and he has a ton of ability, possibly like one out of two heroes in AOV that has a triple dash skill, such as the Irie. So, having that will allow him to kind of be able to just zip and zap, like you said, become a Murad and kind of just execute stragglers after a fight. And having that Yao Chan definitely feel like helps out that situation. Although now I'm kind of not sure what's going to happen here because that Yao Chan might not have the setup that she wants, because I feel like there might not be a setup hero for this particular pick for Alliance, but I could be wrong here. Anyways, it's just looking to be a good start as we even see Nacroft come into this fight. We haven't seen him in the past 4 days, and it's really awesome that Alliance brings him immediately into the board.
Exactly. There is so much room for them to adjust and see whether this Nacroft pick is going to work. Again, I feel like ExDee Gaming has a difficult time dealing with Murad or early game junglers that really sets the tempo, it sets the pace of the game for their team, and that's the reason why they took off Murad. But this time around, let's see how this Nacroft fares. I really like the Diao Chan pick because it's so similar to everybody else from the side of ExDee Gaming. It's quite short range, but you know what? Let's take a look at the match.
All right, so now match is ready, so I'll be giving it to Riku as well as I request a duel to bring you the play-by-play. Guys, take it away.
Thank you for that one, Asarai. And here we finally at the semi-finals. And really, we got ExDee Gaming first up, what could be arguably the best team at the moment, up against Alliance, who also been just showing a great performance. I mean, every team and every match we've seen to get here, we can expect a lot from because of how much they've gone through. And the fact is, it's best of fives today, so really it's so hard to call which way it's going to go. But there's going to be ExDee starting off aggressive, how they like it, but they're going to get a bit of contest there with Alliance going in, knocking them up. First blood going to be Badman Payne able to pick that up on the Cricknack, and it looks like Obex going low. It's going to be the second kill going down. ExDee so far 3-0, cleaning up in this jungle and even forcing back that of I believe Zero and Oh My. They're going very low, but Oh My sticks around, gets punished for it, and an explosive start to these semi-final matches. It is going to be 4-0 for the side of ExDee.
Wow, ExDee Gaming knows their matchup so well. They know that level 1, they have the upper hand. In terms of CC, they have what it takes to lock someone down, and they have the necessary amount of damage to keep the pressure on. Nacroft not going to be so strong, but looks like he's going to try to dive in. Dexter spotted there as we see the Nacroft rather, finishing up his spider camp.
Yeah, and right now, you just from that early rotation, they almost doubled their gold. In fact, ExDee sitting at 4.8k over to Alliance at 2.8, and that's a pretty strong start. They went in, took the buffs, and to pick that many kills off to start with is definitely going to feel good for them. But look at that. We do see Dalchan picking up the Alice, actually taking down Blastoise. Kaz going fairly low himself. Payne going to make that rotation up to the top side. Badman dodging out. Game back to safety, of course. He does have Fayaz there on the Joker, so he is going to be safe for now. But looking at these lineups, looking at these matchups overall, I've got to ask which team that you're favoring as always.
For me, I have to hand it to ExDee Gaming, mainly because of their scaling, their mobility, and the CC that they provide. Alliance has that late game as well with that Joker pick, but again, it's sort of like a one-hit combo sort of thing and no source of consistent damage in comparison to ExDee Gaming's L'Oreal, where I'll consistently throw in those skill shots, but at this point, Abyssal Dragon being contested.
Oh, it's going to be contested and stolen, picked up by Oh My on the side of Alliance. But there's going to be the knock-up, the clean-up for the kills, taking down Zero, trying to go in and punish Oh My, who's stuck underneath his tower now. He's still trying to stick around to save his teammates, though. Maybe punish Kaz, who goes in. There's going to be the trade-out. Although right now, overall, ExDee cleaning up around the board, 9-2, and what a start. They really went into this one, this best of 5, I should say, with their 100% at the start of the match. They're not really pacing themselves unless they are able to keep this up through the whole thing, and I will be goddamn impressed.
Exactly. Look at that. At this point, it was a good strategy for the side of Alliance to actually let XD do the tanking, and then they can swoop in when everybody's practically low. But the thing is, for me, they kind of lack that AOV CC that we've been talking about in comparison to an Alice here. So if ever they decide to go in, it's just the perfect scenario for a Hissy Fit or a Sunshine, and just line them up all together. And at that point, it was just, you know, XG Gaming cleaning up.
Yeah, and so far, is at least the Alliance able to take that one away by taking the Abyssal Dragon. I think positioning after that was a bit off. You did see, I believe it was Fayaz on that Joker kind of getting caught out on his own, and once again gets caught out there between Dexter and Payne, and they're going to be able to clean up taking that Might Golem away. But this rotation coming through by Shiny, the ultimate used on that Max, we've seen it picked up so much for this purpose, that global presence you can have into a team fight. Is going to try catch them out in the mid, but not really going to be able to do so just yet. But look at the pressure they're just putting on with their rotations. Dexter, Blastoise, and that of Shiny X, the 3-man squad rotation right now. Payne obviously substituted up into that top lane, and that's the synergy that XD has there, that they know that Shiny, he goes down to mid with the ult, and then all of a sudden Payne covers that top tower for him, and it allows them to pick up the first tower of the game. Batman could possibly get caught out here, but is it a return where Shiny, instead taking a lot of damage, needs to be careful now. But you can see double buff on the hands of Payne. He isn't afraid of double 2-level advantage, in fact, over everyone on the side of Alliance. So they're just going to hide and wait for a bit, but they're not wasting their time. They're on to the next thing, and the next thing is going to be Obex in that mid, trying to poke him down. But so far, I think it's just a bit of poke and play, seeing what they can catch out. The next big objective here is going to be the second Abyssal Dragon, I believe.
Yeah, that's the main difference between the AoE CC of XD Gaming and the AoE CC of Alliance. If you're going to have to rely on Diao-chan to set up, you're just going to basically have to ult and let her stand there, stand still, and that's going to be a juicy target for the Cricknack. And at this point, Abyssal Dragon's going to be secured by the Alice, and Alliance will not have the chance to take that in comparison to earlier. But yes, that is the main difference. You're putting yourself, you're putting the Diao-chan in danger, and there's so many that could dive. There's the Cricknack, there's the Lubu, and as well as the L'Oreal. Such a vulnerable target. Benman, so low.
Using the ultimate to escape, gets out of it just in time, is going to make it back to the safety of his teammates. And meanwhile, you can see XD in the top. I think they're doing the Sentry right now. Yeah, they're taking the Sentinel, and then they're going to be stealing away yet again the Might Golem. And it might not be as apparent as to what's really going on, but the fact of they're really just starving our Alliance, it lets them go for this really confident early, actually prior 7-minute Darkslayer that they're going to try and take. Whether that
immediately, this is one of the strengths that XD Gaming has. They are very confident with their moves, and they know that they're in the lead, and they could just strong arm their way to practically almost anything in the map at this point. But they're still pretty much reserved in terms of not going all in just yet. No tower dives being seen just yet. They're still just shoving down the waves, feeling their opponents. And at this point, you can see Ryoma is getting chipped down to 1/4 HP.
Yeah, and there's going to be Batman coming in for the save, protecting that tower as well in doing so. But you can now, if you look at the minimap, still 2 people up here in the top lane putting the pressure down. Blastoise is going to rotate up, make that 3. But in retaliation to that, you got Fayaz who came back up. But look at Payne! Oh my lord, the damage he puts down, diving on in, able to just pick up that kill with ease. Going to now focus on Batman. The thing about this Cricknack, though, I feel like very single targeted in that sense. It needs to be careful when the odds are not in his favor. But the rotation back to take the mid tower anyway, they still get a win out of it no matter what. You leave the Lubu up in the top side, and he's going to continue to push that tier 2 tower, and Shiny X cleaning up onto All Might. It's just ExDee really at the moment. You did mention that they aren't going in so full-heartedly into like tower dives or anything too deep like that. I mean, we did see the Cricknack before, but not as real a whole team. I think this is ExDee not only one understanding their power spike, but two really respecting the side of Alliance and wanting to play this game as safe as possible, make a clean first match out of it. And their rotations so far have shown that, as you see Kaz starting up the Abyssal Dragon solo, the rest of the team up in that jungle a bit higher to kind of ward off the enemies.
Exactly. They're so far ahead in this match. And a good instance or a good sign of that is that how I did mention how they don't really dive, but at this point, let's see, Dexter is doing the diving.
Dexter taking a lot of damage, trying to out that of the knockoff, but gets punished for it instead, caught out in a bit of a 2v1v3 situation there. Kaz left alone, and Kaz's objective right now really seems to be that split push type of deal, which is obviously what most teams will pick up this Lubu for in a lot of cases at the start. He can become that tanky frontliner for your team as well into the late game, so that's also good to see. But just pushing the enemies back into their base. They're left with that high ground towers at 10 minutes in. It's 15-3 and 10k gold lead, in fact, for the side of ExDee Gaming. They're sitting comfortably at 30.9k over to 20.4. So the question is just how well can they finish out this game, because that's what we see some teams struggle with, is the late game and finishing out, and that really allows some breathing space for the Cyber Alliance. But will ExDee give them that as they're jumping back and forth over the walls into the base, dealing damage on both sides?
Exactly, and this is the tower defense, or the high ground tower defense we've been talking about time and time again. Normally, we see Preda dealing really good amounts of wave clear, but they do have the Diao-chan for that control. She's going to be safe under that tower, but they're going to do the dive.
Once again, Dexter diving in, gets shut down for Zero joining in on that fight there, I believe, or All Might. And they're going to then clean up. They take down the high ground tower, and as soon as the fight breaks out, they need to be careful.
Dragon, but they scare them away, and looks like they're going to have that for themselves. 50 seconds on the clock till that Dark Slayer spawns, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the juiciest targets ExDee Gaming wants just to close out this game. But again, I'm not counting out Alliance just yet. They do have that wave clear from that Diao-chan. They can have the CC lock, the CC control, as long as they're under their own high ground tower. But looks like they're going all in.
Well, as you said, as long as they're under their own tower in their base, that's where they need to be. But if they won't contest any of these objectives, they gotta step out. And as soon as they do, Dexter's there to shut them down. Batman go jump back over that wall, getting into safety. Shiny X with the ult coming in on through, and the base is open once that bot lane was cleared through, and they're gonna rush in, trying to pick up what they can. They do find that of Obex and Fires, and they're soon looking for All Might, as well as Batman first to go. All Might left standing, and there is going to be the base taken down 13 minutes in, actually. As you said, a bit longer than their usual games, but for the most part, ExDee, I think, just putting some respect into this first semi-final match.
Exactly. I totally agree with you there. It's quite funny how the moment I said, as long as they stay in their own base, and then suddenly you see ExDee Gaming just charging in one by one as the members of Alliance, and that's how they managed to finish the game. I know it's really tough playing from behind, especially in these types of scenarios. 10k gold lead, there's only a few games we've witnessed where teams managed to come back from a 10k gold lead, but then again, it's all about that scaling as well. Diao-chan is sort of okay, but I feel like she's more utility for me, whereas so you can secure that hard CC for your squad to finish up and dominate the skirmish or the fight.
Yeah, well, that is the question there of whether it was down to the team comps that could be changed up a bit. So handing it back to yourself and Asarai, I'm going to leave that with you guys and to wrap that up going into game number 2.
Thanks so much. I request a duel and Riku for that game number 1. Couple of things that we kind of saw there was ExDee Gaming at the very start of the game, put the pedal to the metal, and they just brought the pain down, the hurt down onto Alliance, so to speak, pun intended as well. And at some point there was, like you said, and I requested duel said that, they were turtling quite well. They were able to use the Dialcha to kind of control a little bit their counter sieging their defense. But after that, after they got the ace, they kind of, I felt like, how when you actually play this type of scenario is that you kind of try to push out of the base, you have to get some objectives, but that wasn't the strat that they were supposed to do. They went out of their safe zone, they were out of their own base, and they basically were in the wild, and everything like out of sight of their base was fair game for ExDee Gaming. You saw the L'Oreal was so comfortable chasing down on that because there was no tower that she has to fear. There was no punish that she had to fear because everything was just so open for her to kind of like maneuver around to get that, I believe, initial pick on the Diao-chan.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the some of the teams or most of the teams try to practice like the buddy system. Whenever they're behind, they make sure that maybe 3 people roam together just so that they can secure objectives around the map, and so that just in case they have the additional CC, additional kit, just to help them out and try to run away, because that's just go to base and then try to go back to full HP and then fight again. But the problem was they saw one of the members from Alliance just isolated, and then once near the base, it was already too late. The L'Oreal could just practically just keep chasing and use her skills as well. But you know what? That's just game number 1. We're still we're having a best of 5 series today, and I kind of wonder because Alliance keeps using this Diao-chan. Obviously, I actually thought this Diao-chan pick is just for, some teams don't want to show their early strategies so that they can surprise the upper brackets. But this time, it just seems that this is one of their unique picks. This is the pick that they want to use. So for me, the question is, will there be another air quote secret pick or pocket pick on the side of Alliance that could actually shut down ExDee Gaming? It has been done before. Our Abditory has defeated ExDee Gaming yesterday in a very dominating fashion as well. So I'm curious if they're going to be replicating that.
Just a quick notice here as we get into our draft for game number 2. Alliance, looking at their picks on our first game, they had a match yesterday with, obviously, Gods, where in their second game, it's basically the same pick, but instead of the Nakroth, it was a Kriknak. So they kind of like lost that ganking potential that the Kriknak gets, and of course his knockup that this allows the Diao-chan to kind of do some shenanigans with. But Murad plus Joker, can you get any more memey than this? This is just pure meme damage output for ExDee Gaming.
This is, well, not really weird. It's just that Alliance had blue side. They had the pick priority. They decided to go for the Alice instead of the Murad pick. I understand the logic behind this because it just enables your pre-level 4, your level 1 fights just much stronger. If you do want to get that level 1 invade, you have that proper CC already on your side. On the other side of the spectrum though, ExDee Gaming with that Murad pick is going to be explosive if they make this work. Especially if you lock in that Diao-chan. It's just going to be a fiesta for Murad. I am excited to see how this is going to pan out. But again, Diao-chan, not entirely a fan, but Alliance made it work yesterday.
Yeah, they did make it work, and now this is looking to be much more interesting for them because they have the tools that they need to make this Diao-chan work. But because of that, ExDee Gaming are answering kind of appropriately here as they kind of, I guess, answered that with the Malik as well as the Crash. Both of these heroes have added shield skills, plus they can absorb so much damage, so they should be fine under the Diao-chan's lockdown, so to speak, but we just have to see how they kind of interact with that. They also have the L'Oreal to kind of get away from the Dialchin's damage, and we have seen how good it is on game number 1. So we'll have to kind of find out here as game number 2 will almost go underway.
That is true. Senial was on XD Gaming side, correct?
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh no, it's for Alliance.
It's for Alliance. And this would mean they have so many options. They've got really good split push. They've got a very strong side laner with that loop. So I'm guessing they could try to pressure up top as well with a really strong split push, and then they could try to do the typical 4v5 potential, try to commit them into a fight, make it a 4v5 with that Senial because Max is taken out of the table. So I'm really, really excited and curious how this is going to work. If I'm looking at their 3-man squad, it potentially could be Diao-chan, Alice, and Cricknack, which I think is pretty strong. If they're 2-man squad, Cricknack has the burst, Alice has that hold. But at the same time, I feel like they need more oomph. So I'm guessing, yes, it's going to be a 3-man squad. If ever it's a 2-man, they can visit bot or a side lane, which is Lubu, which is I think is pretty strong enough already, whoever is going to be their opposing side laner. But these are all just on paper. I'm just guessing. But then I feel like Alliance's composition has just so many strategies that they could pull off. On the map, macro-wise, I'm just a little bit worried about that Diao-chan because it's so susceptible for really good Murad players.
Yeah, and speaking of squads, you have to also take note as well that XD Gaming really liked, again, to kind of set their pace or control the game on the early game. So we'll see if they go for the invades. Anyways, I request a duel and Riku for your casters on the second game. So guys, take it away.
Thank you as always, Sarai. And if there will be any invades, but right now it seems fairly passive from both sides. My name is I Request a Duel, joined once again by Riku for the second match here between Alliance and XD. XD just taking that first match, but let's see how they play. As I say that, XD do make the rotation down to the Might Golem, but I think they'll get spotted out. However, did they manage to get the steal on that one? Not sure who picked that up. I think it was Payne. He did just manage to dash in there, and that is really the mobility on that Murad pick. And I would be scared if I was Alliance. They gave over the Murad and the Joker that you mentioned at the start in favor of an Alice pick. Now, Alice not bad support at all. In this case, playing up in the top, or at least holding back for now. But it is Fayaz on it, which I'm a bit confused. Fayaz is the marksman for Team Alliance, and they picked up the Alice. But maybe they're just able to swap between roles.
Yeah, they're quite flexible with their roles. And most likely, I guess they're really aiming for that early game control or disengage. That's the reason why they prioritize the Alice more. And maybe it's one of those things that gave them a hard time, knowing the fact that, hey, our mid laner probably doesn't want to play L'Oreal, and if we put L'Oreal in an Alice comp, or Alice in a L'Oreal comp, it's just going to be more explosive. So I suppose that's also one of the benefits you could get. Try to take some minor power away from, minor buff away from Dexter. Again, I'm curious to see Zero play another mage though, but let's take a look at an Abyssal Dragon contestation.
Yep, and we'll see here as it's going to be XD started off and XD to finish it. Right now, both teams playing fairly passive, but as I say, that XD going to go on the engage, trying to punish that of Alliance. They pick up the first blood onto Obex there, and Dexter just waiting in the brush to make use of that L'Oreal dashing in and out. So quite a mobile team, especially in terms of the backline that you're looking at of XD. You've got that, the L'Oreal, the Joker, and the Murad. And I think what really works well here for XD, we saw them kind of struggle in that first game. It was a very explosive start, but then it started to slow down towards the late and finishing out. But surely with this kind of team comp, the amount of backline damage you have with such a strong front line of the Crash for good engagements with the Metamorphosis and the knock-up coming through with Shiny X, who's playing Matt Malik, I really like XD's drafting into the second match. And if honest, I am just a bit confused by what Alliance have picked up.
Well, I guess it's pretty solid. Maybe just the order of the draft or their priorities, but I guess Alice is a really strong pick. It's just that, hold that thought, Kaz just
Ooh.
fought him under turret. And at that point, the Lubu just falls. All Might. Not so All Might anymore. But going back, let's see a clash in mid.
Yeah, Shiny X trying to go in with the knock up there, but Crash going to be able to land the Metamorphosis, zoning out Bedman. Not sure if they'll be able to pick up any kills in return, though. However, Alliance picking up a kill for themselves onto Dexter, I believe. And I do understand, you did mention this, that the possible thinking behind Alliance's team comp is for that control kind of comp in the early, and I think that's something that they had trouble with when going up against XD in the first, so they do have their own reasoning behind that and their own way of going through the draft there, as we see that Kaz gonna get jumped on there by Obex, who's playing the Cricknack, but he's fighting back, picks up one, going for the double, the 1v2 plays coming through by Kaz on that Joker, which we know is just such a strong pick. And now it's going to be Fayez who gets caught out in the wing as Pain rotated down and catches him waiting. And an open Abyssal Dragon right now. Only one nearby would be Dialchan, but I don't think she can steal it on her own, and I don't think she's going to be able to get there in time either. So what I was saying about that Alliance comp that you mentioned is that I think that was in retaliation to how much they struggled with the early game last time, whereas XD have done a bit of an opposite and now gone, okay, well, we're going to have a bit more of a team comp that's going to be really good in the late game, but nevertheless, XD pulling off well in the early as well.
Exactly, and you look at this, it's not stopping. That's 2 temporal turbulence in 2 seconds, but we'll have to see as a fight starts in the jungle.
All Might does pick up that Might Golem for himself, or maybe is Obex there, not sure. Either way, they both have the Might Golem, so it has to be a good thing for them as long as they don't lose it. Now is Kaz going in deep, doing a lot of damage there with the dive in, and now they need to be careful. Pain joining back in the fight with that turbulence, and Zero goes low. This is what you mentioned you didn't want to see during the draft when Dialchan was hovered. You knew that this would be a dangerous pick going into the Murad.
Exactly. You just keep going in. He's like the poke type hero without the linear skill shots. I go in, just activate my ult, and I'm just gonna try to burst you down, scare you away, force you back to base. And that's just, 6 minutes in at this point. And it's not yet a 10k gold lead. But imagine if that's the scenario. I assume it might be a one-shot Dialchan already, and the rest of the squishy targets on the side of Alliance. And the laning phase for XD Gaming is just working so well for them because there's so many sources made before the side lanes, especially at the mid lane. That's Spider Camp as well. But let's take a look at this cute little standoff we're seeing here at our bot side or at our Abyssal Dragon side as 6 seconds is left before it spawns. Murad is doing that split push. So the threat of that scary jungler is not going to be found.
Yeah, it won't be found, but we do know that with that Zennial pick, Bedman on that Zennial, he can join in the fight if it breaks down. However, Alliance just giving it to XD, really. This is something I worried about. I actually talked about pre-stream with you guys, is that I was a bit worried to see how Alliance would play against a team like XD Gaming, where we saw them go up, I believe it was Infected yesterday, and there were a lot of times where it's kind of stalemate and not really contesting objectives and stuff, and that's exactly what XD are going to take advantage of. As we see here, they're already on 3 Abyssal Dragons, picking up another kill for themselves. Kaz really fed at this point, must be at least 4 of those kills for his team, and now continuing to push that bot lane with Shiny X and Dexter. It seems to be they have a bit of a methodical breakdown. They've taken the top, they've taken the mid, and now they're going for the bot tower, just doing it piece by piece.
Exactly. XD Gaming is just practically taking towers, shoving down the waves as, giving space for Pain to keep farming in his own jungle, trying to split push. Bedman just hiding in this brush as Blastoise will try to proxy and stop the waves, and he'll be spotted at this point with Murad so low. Zero will accompany his Bedman.
Yeah, although nothing really happening there just yet. Blasto is going to be allowed to back out safely as Kaz and Payne are nearby, and nearby for good reason as they start up the Dark Slayer. Dexter going to join in here, although All Might catching wind of this, going to be able to relay that over the comms to the rest of the team as Obex jumping in a bit early, and there's going to be Kaz with the Turbulence actually getting Obex very low, taking the Abyss. Dark Slayer for themselves, and now the kill is going to start racking up on the board, trading out there 1 for 1 and actually 2 for 2. And we do see they need to be careful as Badman getting chased down, make that free for the side of ExDee as they clean up 4, and Badman is now needs to be careful more. Actually, that was a return kill. No, that's just the late kill feed there as we see Murad Payne on this Murad. Continuing to clean up in the top, and it's just like you mentioned, Payne is so scary at this point, level 13, the highest on board, and it's that damage he can do as soon as he jumps in. That for the team comp of Alliance, with the kind of picks they have, they really need to be careful about that. Really, All Might the only one able to tank that up unless you have the Alice nearby to help with shielding.
Exactly, and we haven't seen those punish kills. I guess the Alice pick is one of those heroes that could potentially shut down any over-aggressive plays, and you could just a well-placed Hissifit can just turn things around for your team. But 7k gold lead for ExDee Gaming. They have the Dark Slayer buff. Only some of them have the Dark Slayer buff left, but take a look at the damage on that tower. Chip damage really would count at this point, and it's 10 minutes into the game. Earlier, 13 minutes was all they needed, but look at that.
Ooh, Payne going in deep does get punished, as you mentioned before, that it's really that overextending and over-aggression that is going to be the chance for Alliance to come back into this game. But they have to be worried. What we saw really broke them in that last match was as soon as they lost that bottom high ground tower, which they're in the same situation now, that's when ExDee allowed a free entry into the base around the backlines where they feel more confident in tower diving. It's not just a one-way push. You've got all these different angles to attack from, and the 4th Abyssal Dragon of the game going to go over to ExDee. There's some engagement coming through by Blastoise, and the rest of the team jumps in to clean up the kills onto Zero and Fayaz, picking them up, and Batman on the run should be able to escape from this one, but it's him and All Might as well as Obex, who is actually up in the top left to hold this base. Obex needs to return home, help out the team. Otherwise, this could be all but game right now. And the two of them just trying to do what they can. I'm not sure what the call is for Obex to not be here right now, but All Might taken out in an instant. Badman go jump back in for some healing. And there's Obex jumping in for the kills. Maybe he's farming up, but the question is, was it worth it? Maybe not. Alice gets the respawn, and the respawns are coming up, but look at the core damage. It's too much, too late. ExDee take game number 2, and once again, similar strategy, similar game. I'm going to question really what is Alliance going to change up into this next match. Third match could be the last in this best of 5 if they don't make a difference.
I really wanted to change their Diao-chan pick. I feel like, it's really not working. It's easily countered. Diao-chan is easily countered, and it takes certain situations to land all of her shots, all of her AOV to make it work. And honestly, you saw how they're also hovering over Natalia. Natalia is a decent mage. She deals such burst damage in a linear shot, and as well, she has been buffed as well for version 14. But it's one of those things where it's the same playstyle as Diao-chan. You would have to put her in a very stationary position, and that's the reason why all these mobility heroes on the side of ExDee Gaming can easily take advantage of that. If I don't give you space to do what you're good at, then it's practically you can't push any of your buttons at all.
I totally agree with you there. It's really ExDee doing great drafting, in fact, for both these matches, and playing those comps that they pick so well. I've got to give it to Kaz for that match, really picking it up, especially the plays, the just micro plays there in it. But yeah, that's my say in it. I'll hand it back to yourself, Riku, and Asarai, take it away.
Man, that game number 2 definitely was much cleaner for XD Gaming, and they're looking to, look to actually push Alliance to the brink already of losing with that great of a game. And I kind of noticed one point here when they were kind of contesting for the Dark Slayer. Malik wasn't even in that fight. He was split pushing in the bottom lane, if I was not mistaken, and that was a 4 versus 5 scenario. And this is a thing I kind of don't really say too much, but I feel like there is a slight disadvantage for the left side team compared to the right side when you try to go for the Dark Slayer, because the pit, kind of faces on the right side team that your opponents have to go around the brick. And you kind of saw that even though it was supposed to be a 4v5, even though they had the number advantage, Alliance had to go over that wall, and they were trapped by the Crush, who uses Metamorphosis, pushed them back away, and they had to go all the way around to kind of respond to their teammates who were able to bypass that. And it kind of just, they weren't able to do that in time, and they got the Dark Slayer buff ready, they had the HP, they had the damage with the L'Oreal, and it just kept faltering, and even the Malik, by his lonesome, gets the bottom tier.
Yeah, it takes a while, just as you said, to respond to that. It was already too late before the Diao Chen and the arrived for that battle. And one thing to note is that it's so hard to shut down a Murad if he's given the space to move around the map like he did earlier. Pain did so well. He practically scared a lot of members from the side of Alliance under their turret to just go back and recall and just replenish their HP. And that's the reason why a Murad pick. That's the reason why I would rather have a Murad first pick rather than an Alice first pick. I get it that it's such a good pick though, Alice, in terms of having it fits so well in many compositions. If you want that early game control, yes. If you want to level 1 fight, yes, because you have that early game CC. Or if you want that shield, it really depends on you. But then again, I want to see more mages. I want to see a different mage this time, because seeing Alliance for these past streams, you keep seeing this Diao Chan pick. So I kind of wonder what else they have, because this is their last chance to stay in the tournament. One win away, this XD Gaming is moving on to the grand finals.
Yeah, and I feel like you're definitely right on all those points. Like, we see the Diao Chan kind of more as an anchor for Alliance. This is their mascot who they won't really give up. But the problem is they're kind of forcing compositions to work with the Diao Chan. But they're, like you said, with their other 4 picks, there are other mages that might actually better. Another thing that I kind of want to talk about with Alice is what the iRequest they do will kind of pointed out to us a while ago, wherein it is actually a staple pick of Blastoise, the observer for XD Gaming here, but he also does a pretty mean crest. So, I mean, taking away at the Alice doesn't really, I think, hinder him as much, but they were just hoping that this prime pick, not only was it a takeaway from Blastoise, but is a good enough kind of, utility support that can really help them in the fights. But it seemed like it wasn't really the case for them. So, for Alliance here, I kind of feel like they should abandon the Alice and maybe go for something a little bit more of the heavier control of servers, which is the Crest or the Lombard here, which I think really does complement well their playstyle. Anyways, game number 3 draft is underway. Let's see if they will do just this, or we'll see that mage that you were talking about.
Yes, and it seems that they're going to be switching it up right now with their picks. Good call again on this Murad Bam, which leaves Max open as their first pick. I'm not going to be surprised if there's going to be a Saniel in this draft, but again, a lot of priority on this Alice pick. I love this Joker pick as well, but I kind of wonder, Preda has been open for so long. Alliance could pick it up for themselves. I prefer Preda than a Diao Chen anytime. Preda has his own shield. I know Diao Chen has armor, but at the same time, that still doesn't help you against a L'Oreal composition. But we'll have to see if they lock in this kill graph. You have 2 side laners already. No Senial to be found if they lock this Malok in, which would mean Max could take advantage of this. Split push plus that global response. If you already have your two side laners, oh, hold that thought. Who's their jungle? It could be a Killgraph jungle, it could be a side lane jungle. So either a Joker mid, we've seen Joker mids from other regions as well. So this could go in any sort of combination, if you will. Now Violet is is gonna be on one of the side lanes. Cricknack, for sure. Normally I see Violet in the jungle, but looks like it's gonna be a Violet side laner, I suppose. But we'll have to see. I love this draft. It could go either way.
Natalia last pick for Alliance.
There you go. So our deductions,
Yes.
we're right.
We're
So,
basically Sherlock Holmes.
so yes, Natalia, they hovered it at game number 2 because, okay, do we go Diachan or Natalia? Let's see. I prefer Natalia way better than Diao-chan. Her range is so much better. You don't have to put yourself in the middle of the fight to actually do what you have to do. And the burst potential from Natalia is so much better than Diao-chan. But then again, you do get that Diao-chan for that control rather than that burst anyways. But I do prefer this pick. If it's not a Preda, then okay, Natalia, I suppose. But then again, it's so susceptible to heavy divers, which I think ExDee Gaming has a lot. Max is going to be your primary enemy on the other side, for sure.
Aside from that, Max, Cricknack, L'Oreal, and Crash, everything is actually a good answer to this Natalia. So we'll just have to kind of see how Alliance can maybe work around this. I mean, Natalia does have that help from the Malik, who can be the frontline, and Kilgroth can be the same as well. But it kind of pushes Alliance to put resources on trying to either feed this Kilgroth the resources that he needs to become, the Kilgroth that all fear and love, or Natalia to kind of just stay in the middle of the fights for as long as possible. And I was kind of hoping for a bit more explosive possible jungler here. If this could be a Kilgroth jungle, I kind of wanted him to be a Kilgroth lane, and then maybe we see a Luke come out from Alliance. I think that's a really nice combo. Or we did see yesterday, I did forget which team that was, but they used the the double under the sea type of comp with the Kilgroth and the Crash, and definitely that would kind of reduce the power here of ExDee, as I believe again these are the two prime picks of Blastoise. But with all said and done, they have it already. Game number 3 will go underway, and it's gonna be Riku and I Request a Duel. So guys, take it away.
Thank you once again, Asarai, and here we game number 3. It could be the last for this first semi-final matchup between ExDee and Alliances. ExDee already hold 2 points in this best of 5 to their name, and what a draft coming into draft number 3. A few change-ups there, as you said, Riku. You want to see a new mage in the mid lane, Zero picking up a Natalia, but as well as some points to pick out as Kaz actually going for the Violet pick over the Joker in that first pick slot. So, and to also reiterate, Blastoise once again getting his hands on Crash, and for Alliance, they decide to prioritize the Alice. So there's a lot of questions here as to why the draft was done in that manner, but we might have to hold off as ExDee going in with that early invade. I don't think they stole out the buff. No, you can see All Might there able to clean up with 2 buffs for himself already. So I wouldn't imagine too much action after that. Both teams probably just gonna fan off and do their own thing.
Exactly. If you look at their 3-man for ExDee Gaming, it's pretty decent. Not a bunch of hard CC, but they can practically overwhelm them with damage. And it seems that it is going to be a Kilgroth jungle. We'll see the first gank of the game, though.
Blastoise just cutting off the way home for that Alice, shutting down Badman. Abyssal Dragon is up, and it seems like the timing on that gank is always so perfect for them that they make sure it happens, or if anything, that they can just pressure back the side of Alliance and then go for that first Abyssal Dragon, and they get it without any contest. Pain, however, going very low, needs to be careful going to make that back home. Might get caught out if they just take a guess phase in the bush. They took a guess, but into, actually no, there's going to be Kilgroth still picking up that kill. Malik went for one, and it was All Might who went onto the other, and they just took both bushes. No need to guess in that sense. He could be in either 50-50 and you still get the kill. So 1 for 1 now, but reminding that XD did get that initial Abyssal Dragon, so still slightly in the lead.
Exactly. And as you can see, there is a bunch of rotations right now with XD Gaming. Apparently, bot side Violet is going to be up against Joker at this point, and as you can see, there's going to be the Natalia burst we were talking about, and Dexter goes down.
Wow, yeah, Natalia, wow, especially in this tournament saying, so it is good to see a breath of fresh air, in fact, to come out and play that here from the side of Alliance. And I think what Asarai mentioned was that they were very confident on the DL champ, but it's really just bringing their team down to try and force the rest of the team comp around that. And you talked about the positioning of that DL champ in a team fight situation isn't really the best, whereas opposed to Natalia, who is more of a backline mage, is able to sit back and deal that AoE damage as well as the long snipes with the ultimate to pick off some kills. So we'll have to see. XD 3-man rotation up, or actually 2-man at the moment. Dexter just a bit behind, but will be there in time to help secure the kills. Not needed. It's just gonna be Blastoise and Shiny X, all them going in the max for Crash, doing work.
Exactly. This Crash pick, especially with that Disrupt talent, will just practically keep diving at you. And at this point, we can see that the that Alliance is respecting XD Gaming so much. Bedman's so low.
Bedman very low indeed, gonna get taken up underneath that tower, and now Fayaz really just having to run away, give up the Sage Golem, and soon to give up the second Abyssal Dragon, I'd imagine. They're not gonna start it up just yet. Maybe Blastoise. No. I see XD want to manage their waves first, and then make sure to go for the Abyssal Dragon, because they don't want at least any pressure on their own towers. And that's something that XD have been fairly good at these matches. I'm not even sure if they've lost a tower in these first two.
Exactly. They're so good at wave management, making sure that Alliance will not be able to create a sneaky backdoor play, which we've seen from Nana's Vanguard, but Bedman so low, forced to back away.
Oh, there's going to be the Malak going in. And I think he gets it. Alliance, game at steal. Malak gets out there safely. Bedman, the only one who's going to go down. The sacrificial lamb in this case. Shiny X jumping in the fight. But meanwhile, it was All Might versus Dexter. Takes him out. It was fairly low at that point. Kaz going to be up to take out All Might, however, as a return kill. And that's a question I had here in terms of laning. Why do you think it's this Violet against Joker, or this Violet prioritized over Joker? Not to say that Violet is still very much in the meta.
Let's see. I guess it's one of those things where at least they have a consistent range damage dealer still. And Joker, hold that thought.
Yep, hold it. But the only thing that will be holded is the tears and tissues above the grave of X there. Sadly, as the top tower will be taken down, the first tower of the game. So actually a very, not very slow, but a bit of a slower start than what we've seen XD in the previous two matches.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I talk about slow and they're like, what'd you say? Player, but I'm not sure if it's the right call just yet. Just a bit of a tease, just a bit of a, you talk, and we're gonna do something, but no.
I think it's due to just get that laner that can try to match that range damage at the side lanes, because I've seen a couple of Luber or Yoma picks getting bullied by Joker side lane picks, and I think first rotation for the Alliance draft, they picked up the Alice and the Joker, so I think the second best marksman you could get is that Violet.
Well, I love there that we do see they started the Dark Slayer, backed off from the Dark Slayer. Alliance are like, okay, well, they're not going to take the Dark Slayer. They go right back to it and take it anyway, so that's really going to help with further pushing these towers in the early game, I think. So, and you can see a lot of pressure up in this top side, hopefully going to relieve some for the bot where Max is trying to push. But in fact, no one is mid right now. So free tower mid, they're going to take it. Meanwhile, Alliance trying to start up this Abyssal Dragon, but Oh My gonna get caught out on his lonesome, taken down, knocked up, easy kill for ExDee. And then it's straight onto the bot tower where look at you see Blastoise Dexter coming from behind, no use of the ultimate as it's just easy clean up from here. Even Pain so reserved with that, holding on, not Pain, Blastoise so reserved with that, just holding on to it the whole time, waiting for the next team fight to keep that up.
Oh my, after the disrupt talent, just really helped so well into these dives. It just supplements this snowballing ExDee Gaming team some more, and that would mean Alliance has no choice but to back away and just stay at their own base.
My lord, back away indeed, but look at that, even under that tower, they pick up the kill onto Oh My, and they're looking for, but need to respect Zero on that Natalia, putting up a return damage, but Pain is like, nope! Slap down, takes them out. Blastoise going in with the water cannons. There's just waterworks everywhere, shutting them down, really causing that disrupt you're talking about. But they're going to look for a possible finish, backing off slightly, respecting Alliance, respecting the death timers that are coming back up now. And as I said, playing it kind of methodical with the wave pushes. I didn't even realize when ExDee took the tier 2 top tower. That is how well they do it and how just smooth it happened.
Indeed, ExDee Gaming knows what to do and try to keep their lead and try to keep punishing all these counterplays from Alliance's side. So they obviously cannot find an opportunity. But again, this is what I said about the tower defense mode. It's not a Preda, it is a Natalia and a well-placed Hissy Fit, which just help amplify the damage that Natalia could give and bring to the table. At this point, really good wave clear, but the dive from ExDee Gaming could just do it.
Oh, you see Oh My trying to be that front line, but on that kill really hasn't built up into this late game as you need to kill Gruff to do so to become that frontline bully. And right now it's ExDee who are being the bullies. There's going to be Blastoise forced to use the Metamorphosis actually because he's fairly low. Cars on the backline low as well, needs to be careful, but just staying outside the base, keeping that distance, playing it safe. Shiny X is going to join in the fight, picks up Batman, but in return they don't quite take out Shiny X until now. He is going to get taken down. And Oh My, last one left standing for the team. Gonna see him in the 1v3 situation. Can he clutch it out? But the damage coming through can't reach Cars. And Cars is gonna be up to help shut that one down for the team. 19-7, best of 5 free games in a row. ExDee take it home. Moving on to the semifinals. And wow, it's really the question of who can stop these guys now.
It was supposed to be our abdicatory, but so far looking at Alliance, they weren't able to match the same pace and match the same draft. I feel like it could be the limitations of their hero as well. I mean, I feel like it's a strong draft, but I think it's not enough to shut down what ExDee Gaming keeps putting out on the field. But at this point, ExDee Gaming it's all about how to shut down that Real, how to shut down their early game, and the mere fact that they have a lot of choices as an observer just shifts up their dynamics and choices of what they could use in the battlefield.
Yeah, and I think that's something you put perfectly. Matching the pace of ExDee is really where it's at. You need to go even with them and then pick up on their mistakes, because even if you're picking up their mistakes from the back foot, you're not really going to be able to overcome them. But with that said, I'm going to hand it back